sir. Yes, sir. We are live. Yes, we are, and we have a new Hot D trailer, a new flying dragon to ride in the House of Flying Dragons. Hello, friends. Hello. That's me in the corner, breaking down the trailer. Thank you very much for coming to my channel, the David Lightbringer YouTube channel, for all your House of the Dragon information. We do appreciate it. I do try to only make trailer videos when there are actual trailers. I know you guys appreciate that. No fake trailer videos. What's the point, really? Why would you do that to your own credibility? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this in 3 passes. First, I'm going to scroll through this thing with the captions on so that we can pick up the text and get the quick gist of it in just a couple minutes. Then we're going to go through. My goal is like 15, but probably 20, 25 if we're honest. First pass, non-spoiler. I'm going to try to go quick so that you guys watching this on the rewatch will have a video that's like 15 or 20 minutes that will give you, you know, the gist of it, what's going on, so you don't have to watch 2 hours to get my opinion on the last scene. So after we've done that second pass, we will then do a spoilers pass, and we'll go back through it, and we will talk, you know, with full fire and as if we've read Fire and Blood, and speculate a little more deeply about what they could be showing us and what they could be changing from the books. And yeah, so there you go. And it is very exciting. It is an excellent trailer. I will bring Cleo out with me in a moment, but I like to make her suffer a little bit before we do that. So we're going to play this in short, controlled bursts so we don't get taken down here. So we can see the throne room. We can see Daemon. And there will be dialogue coming in a second. Let me just make sure I got it. There we go. Yeah, okay. So Rhaenyra is saying the Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen. And we see our first shot of Jace. And by the way, you can see Cregan, rather. This you can see here up. I've got Cregan's smiling face up on the top of the screen just so you can see that. But there's also a couple Entertainment Weekly pictures and stuff. We will go through those as well. I will add that. Yeah, we will go through those. So Alicent in a field. We've got some fire, the crown. So that was cool. We got a shot of 3 eggs. That's, you know, they love to tease us with Dany stuff whenever they can. So that's cool. So Rhaenyra is basically talking about how, you know, the prophecy makes a Targaryen king the protector of the realm, right? We know that. And so this trailer is essentially spotlighting that. And this, of course, is Rhaenyra's dilemma on top of, do I start a civil war to claim the throne because I think I'm the more responsible ruler? And clearly she is a little more, if you had to choose in a vacuum, right, between her and Aegon, you'd probably choose the one that doesn't leave their kids in fighting pits and also go to fighting pits, etc. We're feral children fighting pits, let's be clear. I would say that draws a distinction between the two. But of course, you know, it's maybe not enough for Rhaenyra to just say, well, I'm going to be a better ruler, so let's have a war. She has this extra dynamic of the prophecy, which adds a lot of responsibility, you know. So you could argue that she should just sit down with Aegon and tell him about the prophecy, but, you know, I don't know. Is he going to take it seriously? Rhaenyra takes it seriously. You know, it was impressed upon her by Viserys, so. And so she finds herself in an impossible position. This is what I'm saying. Love the high contrast shots here. All hail King Aegon. Indeed. Hail, hail King Aegon. And we've seen this before. I believe that's a Blackwood to his left. Maybe that's a Tyrell Rose on his collar. Hard to say. Not quite enough sharp detail to say exactly. But the enemy usurped my throne. We see this is one of the coolest shots. They teased this photo a couple days ago online of Rhaenyra holding a sword, and everyone's wondering who she was trying to kill. She's just checking the heft of the swords for their weight. Although that one does remind me a little bit of the sword that Dany wielded in the Short Night episode. It had that strong, tapered, sort of almost triangular look like this one. So I don't know if they're. Yes, we do know if they are. They are trying to evoke. Oh, the Blackwoods are Team Black. Yeah, so it couldn't be. Oh, everyone know it's a rain. Someone's saying so that could be a red lion, right there. That guy kind of looks like a rain. So people are saying that's a rain with a red lion. Very cool. We will find out. But yeah, Blackwoods are Team Black. I was just thinking about the sigil in a vacuum for a second there. So Rhaenyra, yeah. Cue the rage of the men's rights people who don't like it whenever women do combat stuff because they haven't had enough training. Hashtag Mary Sue. Eat, you know what? And I mean, it's one of those things. It's funny, like, people never have a problem. I don't know, maybe some people do, but like, if there's a gun in the room and there's someone trying to kill you, you pick up the gun and try to use it, even if you've never fired it. And if this is a medieval world, there are swords laying around. If combat stuff is happening, you might pick up a sword and swing it at someone, even if you aren't combat trained with the sword. We should probably assume that people like Rhaenyra and Baela are given a modicum of combat training if they want to. They could certainly, we see Baela with the crossbow. So, yeah, I don't know. If that's a problem for you, then I don't know what to say. We're going to King's Landing. Yay. So we're going to King's Landing. That's not we're going to King's Landing. That's like, let's go fight a war in King's Landing. Music intensifies. So what are we going to do about it, guys? What are we going to do about it? So we see Aegon reacting to something in several of these shots. Spoiler, people know what we're reacting to here, but obviously the war is escalating. Things are ratcheting up on each side, so there's a lot of, well, what are we going to do about it going on? And he's got the prophecy knife, of which he knows not the meaning. I said something in our last Hot Dragon stream about potentially Jace having the knife. Obviously, he doesn't. Rhaenyra doesn't have it. Aegon has it. So Jace would have the knowledge of the prophecy, but not the knife when he goes to Winterfell. Unless someone steals it from him, which I don't think will happen. So always love the King's Landing Red Keep shots. Cathedral-like Red Keep. Be a shame if somebody destroyed it. Almost used this for the cover of my trailer video, but I didn't because they're just a little too small. But this shot rules. Just like Alicent and Aegon looking out over the city. And, in the books, we got more scenes like this. You think about the Battle of the Blackwater, Joffrey and the Hound and Tyrion. They're all on the walls watching the battle, most of it. So I don't think that we have a battle that they're watching. Obviously, we don't see soldiers everywhere, but we have seen there is some like riots in the streets of King's Landing. There's a funeral procession that goes through King's Landing. So there's definitely stuff going on. They could be looking at riots or a milling crowd or something. Who knows? And we must play the board before us. Otto is saying, proceed cautiously. And, somebody doesn't really think that much about caution, decorum, and dignity. And this is a thing. Let me take the F word off the screen real quick. We've been talking about Tywin and villains and villainy a lot lately, and war crimes, hashtag war crimes. The idea of a war crime, like there's not a Geneva Convention, but some of the ancient laws and customs that are hundreds and thousands of years old sort of take that place in the story. So guest right, for example, when Tywin Lannister and Walder Frey did the Red Wedding, they violated guest right in order to do that. That is the equivalent of a war crime. Most people in Westeros, even though you're going to war, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're willing to violate all these customs. Because most people believe that if you violate something like guest right, you're bringing down a curse to your house. So most people are afraid to do that. It's only someone with absolutely no fear of the gods or karma or anything, like Roose Bolton or Tywin Lannister, who was willing to, commit these great atrocities in order to win. So one of the things we're going to see in this war, which again is a family war, is what is each side willing to do to win? and you look at different people like Daemon and Rhaenyra, or, you know, the Kingsguard, Corlys Velaryon, Rhaenys, all these people might have different opinions on where that line is. And the same thing for Team Green. You just see this, you know, Alicent and Otto are talking about dignity or caution. And then Aegon's like, yeah, I'm not worried about dignity. I want revenge. So this is why I made that Team Green video. And if you haven't watched, I made a really good video that some people missed. Team Green is a mess. I changed the name to who's in charge of Team Green. That's got some of my best Team Green analysis in case you didn't see that. Basically breaking down the 6 people that are trying to run the show over there. So yeah, Aegon wants revenge. We see a little more troops. Lots of good military troop action here. We see a battering ram later. News spread through the realm, Otto is saying. And the great houses will come to our side. And there's a little more Moondancer. It appears that Moondancer is chasing Kristen Cole in this trailer. We'll show us that in a second. So that is Moondancer. Moondancer has the striped wing pattern, almost like a brindled wing pattern. You guys remember there's like brindled wyverns and stuff? One of the biggest clues that dragons come from wyverns, either evolutionarily or through magical experimentation, is that the wyverns that we hear about match some of the dragons that we hear. So the biggest wyvern is the black one, the Shadow Wing, and it's all black and you can't see it. Well, the biggest dragons tend to be the black ones. Balerion, Drogon is bigger than his other 2 siblings. Cannibal is huge. So that seems to match. There's also brindled wyverns. Moondancer has a brindled pattern on his wings, which Ryan Condal, so you can really see it there. This is just, I think Sapochnik actually is the one to credit more for the dragons, which he got really into. They created all the dragons with care and love, and they've all got uniqueness and stuff. So we love that about House of the Dragon. We love the dedication to the lore. Yeah, it's really cool. So we'll go back and on that slower and this, but I just want to get through this real quick. The great houses will come to our side. That's very convincing, maybe. So here's our battering ram shot. Love this. It's a whole ass tree, if you will. Love that. And they got a bunch of them too. So we are definitely attacking a castle, or these kind of battering rams would really only be for a castle. This wouldn't even be for like some sort of fortification, So I guess the 2 houses here, this is Rosby and Stokeworth, and one other that we can see here. If somebody knows all 3 houses, they can say. My heraldry is... I know the heraldry that has any sort of astronomy. The other ones I'm sometimes squishy on. So this is a Daemon line. I did not think they would be so eager to die. It's just the sort of thing that Daemon likes to say. He's probably reacting to bad news, actually. He's giving it a wry twist, but so House Darkland is the other sigil. Thank you, guys. They're probably hearing about somebody that didn't join their side, obviously, and he's like, oh, instead of acting down, he's like, oh, sort of mock cheerful. Well, I guess we'll have to kill them then. And this is cool shots here of the Valerian ships. And I noticed like visual symbolism here. There's a lot of shots in this trailer that have an entrance type feel that just say, here comes the season. And this is one of them, like, boom. It's like you're being boarded. We are being boarded by House of the Dragon. Rosby, Stokeworth, and Darkland. Thank you, chat. Love you guys. Just covering me on anything I might not catch. We got 500 people watching already, so thank you. Remember to just click like on the stream if you're watching and having a good time. That does help me out quite a bit. So here we already saw Corlys saying to Rhaenyra, talking about you got to cut the head off at the snake, cut the head off. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You don't cut the snake off the head. Yeah. So the question is this, will there be tension between Rhaenyra and the Corlys Rhaenys faction? The Corlys Rhaenys faction has sort of stood back at a little bit of a distance. Rhaenys didn't kneel. to Rhaenyra because she's a queen and maybe she's still reserving her support or whatever at that point. So Corlys seems pretty gung-ho here. We'll have to keep an eye on this, but he's saying here, my ships sail at your command. So he's ready to go. Speaking of ready to go, Caraxes says, "Rah." Only it has a bunch of whistly sounds. What is the ship scene? Hard to say. I mean, it's... Oh, right. Where are they attacking? I guess I should speculate on that. Well, they're not actually attacking. That's just like a very dramatic disembarkment. So they could just be showing up somewhere. The main thing that the ships do, without spoiling it, I will just say that a lot of these places are abutting the Narrow Sea. And so Corlys having his navy patrolling the Narrow Sea, that's a big deal. They can blockade King's Landing, and there is a blockade for at least part of the war that Corlys is carrying out. So, and then, yeah, they're potentially... Either side could reach out to Sellsword Company and Essos or other forces that they'd have to bring in through the Stepstones. So those are the kind of dynamics that we'll see with the ships. There is a naval battle, but I don't think we're going to get an actual naval battle this season. There's a couple, but I think they will be next season. So, okay, so now they're playing up some Daemon-Rhaenyra tension in this next part of the trailer. I don't really buy it, to be honest. I think that's just something they'll... Just so that Daemon stays edgy. I don't know that that's going to be a thing where he's actually disobeying her orders, but who knows? I said that Daemon is the type to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And not even forgiveness so much, but like, some dismissive comment or whatever. The only hope for the realm is in a leader strong enough to unite it, Daemon is saying. And then we see Caraxes looks bigger. Yes, he does. Caraxes looks a little bigger. And he really shouldn't be bigger from, I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination. Looks a little thicker of tail. I don't know. Maybe Caraxes has been eaten well. Do you accept me as your queen and ruler? Rhaenyra looking on with consternation. Daemon not answering right away. Seemingly, of course. You know how they cut these trailers, so I don't know. I don't really. The bloodworm is a grower, not a shower. Love you guys. Nice job. So that was Sunfire here. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the Daemon Rhaenyra thing. Like I said, I don't really buy it that much as a major plot point, but yeah. So yeah, definitely. So this is Sunfire. Very cool looking. Looks like a wolf head shape. Nice golden color. And here's the shot I used for the cover. There he is, Aegon on Sunfire. I definitely love the crown helmet. Like, whoever thought of that did a good job. And I've even speculated that maybe the reason why the original crown is kind of an ugly shape is they were setting this up the whole time. But I think it only looks bronze because there's like a reddish sunlight hue, but no, it should be steel. It should be... Well, Valyrian steel armor is pretty limited. We're actually not told that the Targaryens ever had Valyrian steel armor, so it's probably just steel armor. But yeah, he's flying somewhere. He's leaving King's Landing on Sunfire. So that is a castle. It's probably Rook's Rest. I will just say that. But maybe it's Rosby or Stokeworth. Yeah. We'll see. This senseless war must end. Well, Alicent. I think some people make too much of this, but, Alicent is a little bit on both sides of this. She's kind of like, well, let's start a war, but let's do it nicely. I do want my son to be king, but no, the war should end now. I mean, It's easy to criticize, but I will just say that if you were in charge of either of these sides, you wouldn't you would be thinking about all the people that are dying based on your decisions, and you'd be very stressed out. It would be hard to sleep, and you might not be, hopefully, ultra quick to press the violence button at every possible chance. So we'll have to see what the context of these various scenes are, where it seems like, the women folk are equivocating on total annihilation or whatever. Or Otto was equivocating too. So we'll see. We'll see. This sends us more. Would you not have us prevail? Not like this. Okay, so Alicent seems to be responding in some sort of escalation of violence. They could be talking about Luke, but probably something else. This sounds like a new plan where Aemond is like, yeah, we're going to do this thing. And Alicent's like, oh, this isn't the way. And Aemond's like, this is the way. So this is what I was saying. Go watch my video, Who's in Charge of Team Green. It's kind of a mess. Not like this. Caraxes, our thick boy. So Aemond is saying Alicent holds love for our enemy. Who's he talking to, I wonder? That makes her a fool. Ah, Kristen Cole. Well, breaking it down simple like, aren't we? So yeah, I mean, Aemond is... So this is an indication that whatever hesitation that Aemond was feeling when he didn't actually mean to kill Luke, but just sort of scare him a bit, he seems to have moved past that. And a lot of people worried, because Aemond is pretty gung-ho in the books for war, and a lot of people worried that, like, putting that moment of, oh, he didn't actually mean to kill Luke, they're ruining the character. And I always say that it's when we see these sorts of beats, that it's really just a matter of giving the character an arc, giving him a place to go to. So, like, he's going to take criticism for killing Luke, but he's going to have to own it. And at a certain point, he's going to be like, fine, I did that, whatever, we're committed to it. And then Team Black will do something, and Team Green will get all riled up and be like, well, F them then. So yeah, Aemond at this point we see has moved on. There's no longer equivocation. And it's interesting that he's saying Alicent. Like, how many people call their mom by their first name when they talk to someone else? Usually it's my mother, right? My mother holds love for the enemy. So that's interesting. Like, it's kind of like when Rhaenyra calls her half-brothers Alicent's sons, right? So more Kristen and Aemond plotting, and you see the picture of them not quite playing chess. It looks like they're playing chess. They're playing move the candles around on the table. I'm not sure. But you can definitely see the it's distancing language. The Rissa Rave says, yes, that is exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. So yeah, Kristen and Aemond, we can see the brain trust forming here, right? And these are the two most military-minded people on Team Green. If Aegon essentially comes into alignment with Kristen and Aemond, then the outcome will be violence. So keep an eye on that. So we're back to the north again. Here is Jace and his absolutely platonic friend, Cregan Stark. Let's just go back real quick. Totally platonic here. There's no gaze of longing in Cregan's eyes towards this very handsome Jon Snow-looking Jacaerys Targaryen. No, there's nothing like that. Oh, please don't say anything not nice about anyone's face, okay? You can criticize the wigs, but let's not... even though I'm sure you didn't mean it in that way, but let's not do that, just please. I think we got a better picture, too, actually. Let me just go ahead. While we're talking about it, let me give you the full Cregan. Looks more handsome when you can see him better. So, everyone, here you go. Let me zoom in a bit. he's clean shaven. I just think dudes look weird clean shaven. Everyone should have a beard. And especially a Stark. Stark without a beard is a little funky, but I don't know. After seeing these photos, chances of sexual tension between these two, in my opinion, went up a tiny bit. But it's unlikely they'll mess with that. But why not? Like, honestly, there's a little bit of a bias with, TV and movies. There's more gay female relationships, I feel like. I don't know if anyone's taken a statistic of that. But yeah, there's nothing wrong if there happens to be. It's not, it happens. It's cold up there. Gotta stay warm somehow. Anyways, I won't spend any more time on that because that's really just a fan thing. It's probably nothing to it, but there, to speak of what the book says, Cregan and Jace do form a bond. They do go hunting together. They do form a friendship, and that is important. So there's a lot that's going on with that dynamic that we will see. We'll see what they use. Yeah, Jon was clean shaven at first. He grew the beard eventually. So this is an interesting reveal. So we've seen Moondancer flying over this field, and we've seen Kristen running on the field. Now we can see this is the same scene. So if you go back to the Bela, you can see there's knights across the field. See, that's Kristen and these knights. They're being chased by Bela. So that's very interesting. If you know the books, we can probably take a guess where and what this is. So we'll come back to that. The enemy without maybe fought with swords. And this is Lares talking. Oh, what was that? Oh, he does not look happy. That's the thing about being gung-ho for war and atrocities. So sometimes it comes back at you, I guess. That's not a happy man. So we've seen now, what is that? So this is this duel that we still can't see who he's fighting, but the enemy within is more insidious. Uh-oh. The enemy within. And this is Aemond. It is not Rhaenyra. That is Aemond. Hard to tell. That's why everyone should have a beard. No, I'm kidding. See, I don't think Aegon in the show is gung-ho for Wall until the thing. Gung-ho for Wall until the thing happens. Oh, right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a spoilery comment. So this is Aemond. Who's Aemond sleeping with here? He's sleeping with somebody. There's a woman's arm there. He's in a woman. He's like laying his head in somebody's lap. She has a ring on her finger. I don't think it's a wedding ring finger. I'm kidding about the beards, by the way. I just hate shaving. That's the real. It's painful. I have a high follicle density, so no slight to anyone for their choice of facial hair, obviously. So this is somebody just running through a puddle. No, I'm trying to get back here. Sorry. So everybody's like, we just saw Aegon extremely upset. Obviously something tragic has happened. Same thing for Rhaenyra here. She's just been woken in the middle of the night. She's disheveled. Something bad is happening. Larry Strong is talking about the enemy within. So this is right at the beginning of Fire and Blood when they talk about this Dance of the Dragons. They say it was a war also fought with knives and poison and lies and treachery and things. So it's not just dragon versus dragon. That gives something for the other people to do. So yeah, right from Rhaenyra to Aegon, both absorbing some tragic news. And yeah, we don't know who this is. This could be the new character, or it could be somebody else. That is hard to say. But it definitely looks like post-coitus. There's a gloved hand. Again, somebody's sort of running through a puddle. This is one of the new characters. We'll talk about that in the spoiler section. Yeah, that was Aemond. It definitely was. And That person, this is the person I don't know who it is. Is that Helena just from a strange angle and I don't recognize her? That's, I haven't looked, I don't think this is Helena, right? Okay, yeah, the chat says no. I haven't looked at her face like a million times to memorize it, but it does not look like Helena to me. Yeah, so I don't know who this is. But we're doing a dance. We're doing some sort of dance. I always love dance happening. Yeah, it could be a sex worker, I suppose. In some of the higher priced brothels, they might do a little fan dance for you or something. I don't know, but could be. But she does have white hair. Yeah, exactly. That's the question. It makes you think that she is somebody special. That's Daron. Confirmed. Daron confirmed. Season 2. I'm looking to see if there's any guesses in the chat. Could be a bastard of Aegon's. Is Aegon old enough to have a bastard this old? I don't think so. Everyone's running with Daron. Yeah, I don't know who this is, but I will keep a lookout to see if anybody's got a guess. Could be a dragon seed. It could be. It could be someone like related to one of the dragon seeds. This could be a side character in Ulf the White's plot. So yeah, it's not Daron, obviously. Yes, it's a girl. It's just a joke. We're just kidding. It's not Daron. So, okay. Awesome. I almost used this one for the cover too. So here's Bela on Moondancer. And you can see how small Moondancer is. Okay. Barely bigger than a horse. This is kind of like where Drogon was in Daznak's pit. Maybe Drogon's a scratch bigger than this, but not much. You know, in A Dance with Dragons. And before that, we saw Rhaena. That's not the same field where Bela is flying. That looks like Driftmark or Dragonstone. But she does appear to be gazing into the sky, so probably at a dragon. And there is Moondancer diving and burning. So there's some serious Bela Daenerys parallelism that they're doing. You guys probably saw the photo of Bela with the red cape and the Daenerys sort of charcoal dress armor thing. And here we see this shot. That's, I mean, if you just showed that to me, I would guess that that was a shot from Dany burning the baggage train at the Lannister, you know, the Lannister baggage train in season 6 or 7 or whatever it was. So lots of Bela Dany parallelism, which I think makes sense. There is more than one way to fight a war. Oh, is there, my Saria? Is there? Hashtag Team Smallfolk. Yeah, that was blood right there. Blood and cheese, money, changing hands. There's a knife. Somebody was... This looks like a moment of passion. Is that Helena? Or is that woman that we just saw? I think Aemond has like a silver-haired paramour. Oh, is that Daemon's ring? Thank you. I love you, chat. Thank you very much. So that is Daemon's ring. And that... Well, so that would probably be Rhaenyra then, right? You can't really see enough of her face to tell. But obviously Daemon could be sleeping with some other woman. That's very possible. Doesn't look like Emma. Yeah, I don't think it does. The eyebrows aren't quite right, are they? So this could be the woman with the shield, the fan. Yeah, most people are saying that is not Rhaenyra. Is Alice Rivers going to have white hair? Oh, is that who that is? Alice Rivers always has black hair in the art, but maybe they changed that. And Alice Rivers is a new character. Without spoiling anything we can't say, but she is a new character. I don't know. I don't think so. It's clearly Daron. I don't think so. I think I would be shocked if Alice Rivers didn't have black hair. There's too many silver-haired people, and she just is awesome with black hair. So Alice Rivers glamoring as Emma for Damon. Okay, that's a crazy theory. I'm going to vote no on that. I'll definitely vote no on that. A dancer sent to distract Eamon during Blood and Cheese. Yeah, that makes sense. Damon is banging Eamon. Yeah, that's okay. Definitely. So here we see some of this riots. There's a gold cloaks. We see some uncertainty. They're all looking ahead at something. Yeah, there's major King's Landing turmoil happening here. So real quick, just that was Helena and Alicent together. That's a lot of expensive cloth flapping right there. That's like a lot of windy cloth you can hear. I need to get Costume Co. on here to break down. That's all I have to say. It's windy green cloth. That's my analysis. They're definitely terrified, though. That is a full riot. They are running for their lives. And so then we've got, yeah, just battle stuff. Kingsguard. There's a lot of smoke, so obviously there's Dragonfire mixing in with soldiers. We've seen that one. People are falling off horses. I don't know if you want me to say something more detailed about that. This is Melis, and this is the same castle we saw earlier, which again is probably Rook's Rest. That is Rhaenys on Melis. There's Melis again. Oh, what a cool shot. The fire reflecting in his eye. Nice. Yeah, don't mess with Granny. Don't mess with Granny. And there's Aemon. He is flying his dragon, and there's dragon fire all around him. So this looks like a dragon fight. Definitely a dragon fight. Was that Vhagar? That looks like Nana. Yep, no horns. So Vhagar is breathing fire there, sweeping across the screen with flame. War is coming, and neither of us may win. Hashtag Team Smallfolk. I'm glad someone gets it. That's right. Neither of us may win. House of the Dragon. Finally telling us the truth after hyping up the teams as much as they could. So real quick, before we go back for some spoilerific detail, and I guess we're just going to do two passes. We kind of did the first two in one go there. Let's pull up that. What did I do with it? Oh, I probably put it down here. Nope, that's not it. This is it. All right, so we're not going to read this article. We're just going to look at the pictures, which is what a lot of people do. But yes, Aemond and Alicent, sheepy-de-dee. I don't think there's any earth-shaking. This is just, hypey stuff. Where are the pictures, though? Oh, no, this is not it. I'm sorry. There's one more. Where did I put that article? I've got it right here. Very good. Oh, this is the same one. Well, where are the other pictures? Oh, okay. There we go. This is it. So they've got a full-blown... If you could just get the ad off the screen. There we go. They've got like a moving cover of the magazine with Alicent. There are some good quotes. Okay, yeah, I'll give it a look. We'll give it a look at the end. They're doing the tango. Definitely no tension here. Nothing to ship. It's pretty fun. Right? So then we've got... so yeah, this is the moving cover. I think it's pretty fun. Olivia Cooke is just... She's incredible. They both have a presence. I'm liking Emma's hair here too a lot. It's very like 80s New World Order friggin'. Yeah, I dig it. So, yeah, nothing to ship here at all. They're definitely not. I was joking that it would be good if they should have done like Jon and the Night King photos like this in the run up, to the final Game of Thrones seasons. So there is our queen. I like the headpiece there. That's pretty dope. That is, that's awesome. That is a great picture. That really is a great picture. Emma is such an interesting, she has so many interesting looks. They have so many interesting looks. Let's see here. What's this one? An ad, I guess. There is more photos from the show. They gave us like 4 of these. Yeah, no argument here. So then, yeah, this is the one we're talking about. Jason Cregan. Don't know what to say other than they're on the wall, and that didn't happen in the books. We'll come back to this in the spoiler section. I do have things to say. So here we've got Corlys, and I believe that is Adam, or Alan rather. This would be father. So that'd be Alan Velaryon. Father's been working out. He's looking pretty stacked, to be honest. I believe that's who that is. Yeah, Abukar Salim, who is Alan of Hull. That's exactly who that is. Alan of Hull, Steve Toussaint. Let's see. Those who have read Fire and Blood will know of Alan and his brother, but in the context of the series, his origins are strategically saved for a surprise later on in the season. What we do know is that Alan will be introduced as a sailor in the Velaryon fleet who served in the Stepstones. Beyond that, Salim remains vague about the character, even though as a fan of Martin's lexicon, he knows where Alan ends up. As much as he exudes confidence, he doesn't know who he is. The actions that he does throughout Fire and Blood that are recorded anyway are of a man who's conflicted. Well, that's interesting. So he might not even know who he is. None of us do either. We've all been debating it for years. So interesting. He's going to obviously there'll be a reveal. I'm interested to see what truth they go with here. One of the things that Corlys is having to deal with is past indiscretions coming back to haunt him. Oh, well, that's sort of giving us a clue. So this would be Rhaenyra watching over her young children. So I guess this would be Aegon and Viserys here. Her 2 children with Daemon. It's a nice looking feast table. They know their audience so well. Let's see, who can she trust? There's no one around her, Cook elaborates. Everyone, it seems, has been spying on her. It's this sense of peak paranoia within her own home. That had to really permeate throughout my performance. All of a sudden, she's of no use to anyone. She's done what she was supposed to do, put her son on the throne, and now she's discarded. Who is she if she can't be the person to implement wisdom? That loss, however, becomes freeing. Oh, I could do whatever the F I want and no one cares. All of a sudden, I'm not important. I'm not a player, Cook says of Alicent, in a very giddy way that's really novel and exciting. So we've been talking about this, Otto and Alicent being sidelined by the younger generation, whom they're trying to puppet. And this is always a problem. We saw it with Fagon and Connington. You know, you have a young king or queen, and you're trying to bring them along and get them to do what you want, but you also need them to be strong and to convey power, and, you know, so that people follow them. And it is always tricky doing that handoff. So, yeah, check out my video, like I said, Who's in Charge? And I talk more about that. So, let's see here. This is, yeah, post bad news Aegon, it looks like. It's a gift to play a character like Aegon. He's absolute chaos. You're right, there are some good quotes in here. Tom Glencarney says, he's unpredictable. He's a living, walking nightmare. So it's great fun. That's delightful. Fans have been tempted to compare Aegon to another demented Prince of Westeros, but after meeting Jack Gleeson, that's who plays Joffrey, obviously, Tom Glencarney pushes back. He says, we saw him not wanting to be made king and rejecting the responsibility, but we see Aegon recognize the way he's seen externally from his peers, his family, everyone from King's Landing, and we see him try to combat that. As for the other brother, you're going to see Aemond in full throttle. Ewan Mitchell teases, you're either with him or you're against him. But first he has to break some news to his family that he killed his nephew. Yeah. Mitchell begins. Aemond is faced with a choice. He can either return home to King's Landing and admit it was a moment of weakness and be at the hands of Rhaenyra's mercy, or he can become the most wanted man in the realm, so to speak. So this is what I've totally called this. He's going to come home and claim that he did it on purpose, because that will be better than admitting that he lost control of his dragon. And this is how the legend of Aemond Kinslayer is born. It becomes a myth that he has to then live up to. That makes sense to me. I love how they did that. And everybody who was... Just let him tell the story, folks. That's all I have to say. It's okay to disagree, but like, it's good to give storytellers a chance to tell the story before we, you know, breathe fire on them. I'm going to go get Cleo in just a second, but let's see if there's anything else in here. Emma, Darcy, Jess, they now only see Mitchell from across the parking lot because the characters across the blacks and greens are separated for most of the season. Condell mentions how the production shoots 2 feature film-sized units every day simultaneously, one dubbed Fire, the other dubbed Blood. I passed Ewan in the car park. We sort of nodded to each other. It's almost like we have agreed to silence or something, which I kind of enjoy, honestly, Darcy explains. Okay, this is funny. That's hilarious. They're method acting. Aemond, Ewan Mitchell, and Emma Darcy are so into their characters that they're just like, they're doing the polite nod. That is great. I love that. That is, they are getting into these characters. Kelly Johnson asks, have I been invited to the premiere again? Not as of yet, Kelly. It's in New York. So I will need to know, HBO, if I'm supposed to get to New York in 2 weeks. It's on the 1st of June. No, I have not been invited yet, so I probably will not be. Not after what I did at the after party last time. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know why I got invited last time. It seemed a little bit random. So they might invite some different YouTubers this time. I don't know. Maybe they looked up the fact that I was on the West Coast. Maybe someone watches my channel. We have no idea why I was invited. So I have not been invited as of yet. But thank you for asking. Olivia Cook further praises Fia Saban, who plays Helena. But the Hightower family continues to grow as they recruit more allies against the Blacks. Freddie Fox joins the fray as Gwaine Hightower, Alicent's brother, has been stationed at Old Town, the ancestral seat of their house. Cook never shared the screen with Fox on their Apple Plus thriller Slow Horses, but she now confirms he's an absolute dream to work with. Okay, that's great. Alicent and Gwaine have been pretty much estranged their whole lives, she says, so trying to find this familial sibling bond between strangers was really interesting. Oh, okay. So that's cool. Right, because Alicent's been in King's Landing since she was a teenager or younger, and Gwaine's been at Old Town.
So they're going to bring him in and explore that dynamic. And I'm sure Gawain will mention Daron and how he likes to wear dresses and do dances. No, I'm kidding. We're kidding. It's not Daron. Let's see here. Talking about blood and cheese. There's the man, Ryan Condal, hanging out in the tavern. Hess also praises Condal for leading the show through this tumultuous time. Season 2 marks the first chapter since Miguel Sapochnik left, took a major step back from leadership duties, a development that was announced simultaneously, blah, blah, blah. Hess clarifies for the curious minds that Condal is very much the sole showrunner, and that Taylor's responsibilities, Alan Taylor, are on par with the other episodic directors. He picked up the tone of the show and really delivered for us. After dealing with the pandemic in season 1 and 2, strikes in season 2, Condal has one hope for season 3, that there's not another once-in-a-generation event looming over the show, and that we can just happily make a season without external influences slowing us down. Yeah, no kidding. All right, so this looks like what we've got from the article. All right, so let me go get the bird, and I will also give you some very exciting news, and then we will come back and do the spoiler breakdown of the trailer. So look, there's a contest. HBO has made the mistake of having a music contest. I almost don't even know how to say this to you. Listen, they're having a contest. They want people to do a remix of the Game of Thrones theme song. Now, they are actually giving us stems, meaning the sound samples, and I've listened to them. We've got the drums, lots of Ryan Condal strings. We've got some xylophones. Yes, they're giving me the original sound files to work with so that I could cook. They want dance it sounds like they want, like, you know, it's like they're partnering with Beatport. So, and you guys, I'm telling you, so you can enter if you want, if there's any producers out there. But yeah, look up Beatport House of the Dragon contest. You'll see it. It just started. It got announced yesterday. It's running all this month. You have until the end of the month of May to submit. So yeah, we're gonna have some new music. They're giving me the strings. They're giving me the actual Ramin strings to work with. So yeah, we're gonna cook with that. So, and I will now, if you've never heard it, those of you who might be new to the channel, I have already a Game of Thrones remix, a funky Game of Thrones remix that I did years and years ago. And here it is. I'll be right back. And we're back. And we're back. And Cleo is here. It's Cleo. Say hi, girl. Come here. All right. So what would you call that? Is that like a strange Joe Zawinul Weather Report side project? It's like, I don't even know. It's like lounge funk or jazz or something. Oh, we lost like 50 people. Didn't care for the music. Oh well. Oh well. Sometimes I got to go get my bird. Or well, I did say spoiler, so let's assume that those people didn't want to be spoiled. Not that they didn't like my music or my bird. It's okay. We understand you have choices. But now I'm going to do something like more like a dubstep thing. I'm going to take the strings, cut up the sample, almost like some East Coast hip hop influenced grime style UK. It's going to be good. It's going to be hard. Going to destroy that. Also, they want one for Team Green and Team Black. So I'm going to do a different one for each one. Yeah, it's spoiler time. It's that time. It is. It is spoiler time. So, no, they probably just didn't want to be spoiled. They're not haters. I almost never lose any people when I go take a break. So, all right. So now some people have noticed in the throne room, there is, I think this is a photo. I don't know. There's a couple of videos that HBO put out that's like showing behind the scenes. I didn't want to make a half trailer video breakdown, but basically it's interviews with the actors on set, and you can see a few things in the background. It seems that Aegon and the Greens are taking down these statues on the pillars in the throne room. This is probably a flashback. There's no point at season 2 when Daemon will be walking in the King's Landing throne room. Shouldn't be. Even if he's there in the middle of the night to do like blood and cheese or something, I don't see him opening the main doors of the throne room and walking in here. So this is probably like a dream sequence or something. But the actual Greens, they're taking down these statues of Aegon and Jaehaerys, and I guess it would be Maegor and Aenys, and they are putting something else up. And we know Robert, like, he took down the dragon skulls and put up tapestries. So this might be the kind of thing where they, periodically, they're building a Viserys. Is that what they're doing? Oh, okay. So maybe people were misinterpreting that. I thought that they were taking him down. Oh, you're right. That makes more sense, actually. They're adding a Viserys statue. Okay. Thank you. That does make more sense. Because why would you want to take down the statues of the original ones? I was confused about that. Would you like to see the new tapestries? Okay, thank you guys. So that's cool. So yeah, that is cool. They're adding Viserys, and maybe that's what this is. It's hard to see. We'd have to look on the behind the scenes one. Daeron in a dress. That should be a statue. Yeah, this seems like a dream sequence. There's lightning and... Oh, these are different scenes. This is a daylight, and then this is the one where Aemon is looking at the throne. See, that's a real scene here. You'll notice there's like no banners, and this one's got the green banners. So then we're on the wall, and we're coming back to it, and yeah, I don't know if Alicent is really... So that quote from Olivia is kind of like... She's like, oh, Alicent's a loose cannon. She might do anything. So maybe she is in a field somewhere. Maybe she is... I don't even know where. I don't even know where that would be. She's got no guards around her. That would be strange for her to be out in the countryside with no guards. And yes, that is ice, isn't it? That is ice. And Cregan's a pretty big dude. So that's pretty cool. Just off doing Alicent stuff, taking baths, wringing her hands over whether or not we're going to war.
It's not
processing the messed up stuff that happened to her as a child. I need to turn the sound off so we don't get in trouble. So that is Rhaenyra's crown. Why is it doing that on the floor? Crowns don't belong on... That's what I say to the birds when I find them on the floor. Like, birds don't belong on the floor. What are you doing? Crowns don't belong on the floor either. This looks like Syrax, right? This is probably a continuation of Rhaenyra flying Syrax to Harrenhal We saw that in the other trailer. She's flying next to the God's Eye. We can see the weirwoods on the Isle of Faces. This looks like the same shot. Oh no, maybe that's sea smoke. We've seen sea smoke flying over a lake too. Yeah, it is sea smoke. Yeah. It is. So this might not be a lake. That could be a bay. That probably is a bay if that's sea smoke. That's probably the coastline. Yeah, I would say that's probably what that is. So yeah, 3 dragon's eggs in the fire here. They're absolutely killing us. Like, what is this? Probably somebody trying to hatch eggs. If I'm going to guess, normally the eggs don't sit in a fire. When the dragons lay them, the eggs are laid in that black goo. They're covered in the goo, which we can presume keeps them warm. Because as soon as Daemon and the dragon keepers take the eggs out of the goo, they put them in the incubators to keep them warm. But this looks like a hatching. So, are the 3 eggs a reference to Daenerys? Yes, of course they are. Of course. Of course. They want to make us think of Daenerys as often as possible. And hopefully we're all just remember the good times and not season 8 Daenerys. But yes, 3 eggs. So this is curious. There is nothing from Fire and Blood about trying to hatch eggs. They are trying to find riders for the wild dragons and the formerly ridden dragons, but not hatching eggs. So this is very interesting. We do not know who's trying to do this. It's probably, Daemon and the Blacks. They're doing more dragon-y stuff with the eggs and all that, but there are dragon keepers in King's Landing at the Dragon Pit. So if Aegon comes down to the Dragon Pit and is like, hatch me more dragons, then maybe they'll try to. I believe this is the shot of Rhaenyra walking to her dragon that we've seen from the other trailer. It kind of looks like that same room in the background with the torches. I'm really curious about this riot. Is this like... There's the funeral. They could do a funeral procession for Viserys. Following Blood and Cheese, they will obviously do a funeral procession for whichever kids they decide to kill in this version of Blood and Cheese. But what would the riot be, I wonder? Perhaps Corlys's blockade is hurting King's Landing and they're running out of food. Usually the riots have to do with food. So could definitely be the case. That would be a way to show us that that's doing something. Because otherwise it's like, oh, Corlys is on the show. And he talks about ships and a blockade. And it's like, oh, what does that matter? If they're rioting over food or food prices, food shortages, in King's Landing, then that will really draw... it will highlight the importance of the naval blockade. So yes, this could be what's going on. Yeah, same scene. These are riot hands. Rhaena takes 3 eggs to the Vale in the books. Morning hatched from 1. Stormcloud hatching rumored for the show. Oh, okay. That's a great guess, Agramion. Thank you. That does kind of make sense. I wonder where... Hatching them in the Vale, that's nuts, though. I wonder who would go with Rhaena to, like, maybe a Dragon Keeper? I don't think she's doing that by herself, but maybe. Okay, that's a good guess. Rhaenyra, tension building. Aegon, tension building. I love how everyone's just sort of milling about. I dig this. Again, I totally dig this. I just... Oh, she's at a Driftmark here, isn't she? Those are Valarion helmets. Yeah, she's at Driftmark. This is Corliss's room. Interesting. Oh, someone's saying there's a Viserys statue behind Aegon. Let's see if we can see it. Okay, yeah, well, you can see the scaffolding. Yeah, I'm sure they'll give us a nice shot of it in the show. I personally love Daemon's armor. That looks like Daemon and Rhaenys. Yes, yes, totally. That's sick. I'm sorry, but yeah, the Targaryens are messed up and the Valerians are messed up. Okay, if we could take it easy on the caps lock in the chat, that'd be cool. The Dragon Lords are just so powerful. Like when we saw Jon and Dany standing on the cliff, just, oh man, when they give a couple of Dragon Riders together, it's high fantasy, man. It's something about it. So here we see, this is a certain tone in the council meeting where it's like, you know, this is before Blood and Cheese. And then we see after Blood and Cheese, Aegon's just losing his crap. Do I still believe in Daemon's loyalty to his family? Yeah, I honestly think, like I said, I think that they'll be playing up the Rhaenyra-Daemon tension a little bit, but I kind of don't buy it that much. We'll see. I mean, there are some fault lines, obviously in Fire and Blood. It's possible that Daemon is, you know, sleeping. Well, he's definitely sleeping with Mysaria while he's in King's Landing with Rhaenyra, and then I do think Nettles is a love affair with Daemon too, so, or at least a romantic affair. So there's definitely some tension there between Rhaenyra and Daemon, but ultimately, yeah, it's like when she's asking Daemon, do you accept me as your ruler? Like, yeah, he already did. He already did do that. So I think it's just a way of Rhaenyra saying, hey, if you acknowledge me as the leader, then treat me like the leader. Don't just, you know what I mean? Treat me like a figurehead. So I think that's that kind of dynamic I buy. It's Daemon just being very assertive and Rhaenyra having to put him in check. And that's the thing. It's like if Rhaenyra wants to be queen, she has to be able to put Daemon in check. That's part of it. You kind of have to earn Daemon's respect through a little bit of blunt force. You know, that's kind of how he is. So it's a certain kind of ally, if you will. So this is interesting. We've got the map here. It's not quite the dark time machines on the wall, but it's still pretty cool. Any kind of map on the wall. So we see this dynamic that we're talking about where Alicent is cut out of the loop a little bit, right? No, they're not cutting nettles. Look. Not only are they not cutting nettles, you should not go around saying that they are cutting nettles when you don't know that, because you don't know that. That is nothing but a rumor. And I will also share for you something that I came across today, if I can find it quickly. Or I'll just summarize it if I can't. George Martin said he has considered writing an entire book about Nettles. He finds Nettles to be such an interesting character that he has literally considered writing a novel about her. So she's one of the most important characters in the dance. She will not be cut. I promise you. Yeah, I promise you. It just wouldn't make any sense to do that. There's no reason to. We just haven't seen her yet. No, how do I know? Because she's important to the story. And they haven't cut anyone. yet. Like, they're including all the little tiny children. If little baby Viserys is in here, you know what I mean? What they are doing is they are choosing to push some stuff to season 3 because we're only getting 8 episodes this season. So I think they are holding off probably Nettles and Daron, because Daron doesn't do anything until the Battle of the Honeywine. And if they're not doing the Battle of the Honeywine, that's right. If they're not doing the Battle of the Honeywine this season, then they don't really need to bring Daron in yet. And they're not going to cast somebody in order to stand around for one episode. See, this is the thing that you got to understand about Hollywood. And a lot of you people, you know this, but like when you cast an actor, you want to give them a certain amount of work. They try to avoid bringing someone in for just one episode unless they're having a big part in that episode, and that's their thing. Like Emma Arryn was only in one episode, but she was a huge player in that episode. That was the role. But for someone like Daron or Nettles, whose most of their action is going to be down the line, you don't bring them in season 2 just to have them say hi for a scene and pay them for a whole season and reserve their time and all that when they're mostly going to be in the next season. That's generally how producers do that. So they'll probably talk about Daron, but Daron's not involved. He's in Old Town, and he only appears in the narrative at the Battle of the Honeywine, which isn't going to happen this season. And as far as Nettles goes, you know, she might not be I still think that she could be this season and they're just holding out the surprise, or it could be next season, either one, because they could introduce Ulf and Hugh and Adam Hull this year. Nettles is a little bit different. She tames Sheep Stealer, of course, by feeding Sheep Stealer sheep over time. So it could be that she's doing that on her own, separate and apart from the sowing of the dragon seeds, and that she's going to show up on Sheep Stealer at some point in season 3, as opposed to it being like, who can ride Sheep Stealer, and then Nettles is like, oh, I can do it, because it says that Nettles brought Sheep Stealer sheep every day for a continued period of time. So it's not a one-time thing. She developed a relationship with Sheep Stealer. It kind of makes more sense that would happen organically somehow. So, yeah. I suspect that she will be a love interest and not a daughter. I just read Fire and Blood that way. I read Fire and Blood that way. I do think it's a romantic relationship, but we'll see. We'll see. So moving along here, I don't know what they're staring at. It's not the riot yet. This is probably the scene right before the riot. They're probably like looking out at the crowd going, I don't know if we should go out there. And then they go out there anyway. And then it's like, yeah, that wasn't a good idea. Yeah, if the people that are worried about if Daemon is committing the exact right level of war crimes need not worry. By the end of the story, everyone will have committed many war crimes. Like, it kind of flew by the radar because most people, with the Alicent-Laurys relationship, for example, in the Team Green video, I pointed out that Alicent is trading sex for murder. Okay? We shouldn't get so lost in the fact that Alicent is being blackmailed and manipulated and sexually abused by Laurys that we miss the fact that Alicent also is an adult and a queen, and she is choosing to trade these sexual favors in order for not only Laurys' information, but specifically his assassination attempt on Mysaria. If you rewatch that conversation, which I just did for the Green video, and let me just clear my throat real quick. Hang on a second. Laurys is reeling out the information to Alicent about the spy network. And he's saying, there's a spy network. Your dad's been using it. And she like takes off another sock. Tell me more. And he tells her more. And he gets to this point where he says, there is a head. There's a weaver of the network. And she says, Alicent says, and you can remove this weaver. And Laurie says, if you wish it. And that's when Alicent turns to the side and allows him to actually masturbate to her feet. So she is specifically saying, oh, you can kill this person the head spy master. And like, you can't blame Alicent for killing the spy master who's spying on her family. It's not like she's murdering an innocent person, quote unquote. But she is nevertheless trading sex for Laurie's committing an assassination. So this is what I'm saying. Like, everybody is going to be doing questionable stuff. Like Rhaenyra and Daemon, it's nice that they let Laenor go and stuff, but they killed an innocent serving man in order to do that. And Rhaenyra has, what's his name? Vaemond Valarion's blood on her hands just as much as Daemon does. Daemon killed Vaemond Valarion to cover up Rhaenyra's secret. And it only gets worse. So everybody's going to commit war crimes, and nobody should wring their hands about how innocent or pure a character is. Like even Daeron commits war crimes. Okay? So that's the story, you know. There's really only the smallest children. And that's why, again, Nettles is so interesting, because she is a morally upright character. She fights in one battle and then is just horrified by the violence of it, and then never fights in a battle again, right? This is another reason why I say Nettles is important, is because she's one of the only people that reacts to this dragon warfare the way that most people would react, which is, oh my God, a bunch of people burning alive is not fun. That's not cool. I didn't like doing that, right? So they're talking, yeah. So we just, yeah, after Blood and Cheese, this is the debate. They're talking about what to do about Blood and Cheese, right? And Aegon wants to do something terrible. I'm guessing that Aegon's original idea isn't Rook's Rest. I'm guessing that Aegon wants to do something more severe and more dramatic that they talk him down from, okay? Otto and Alicent are just like, no, don't, you can't. Exactly as I predicted in the video, okay? That's going to be the dynamic in the, Team Green is a mess video. And I bet you it's Aemond and Kristen Cole who step in with the Rook's Rest plan. And they get Aemond to go on to that because it's probably going to be a little more sane than Aemond mounting Sunfire and flying to Dragonstone and like burning Rhaenyra's family or whatever he wants to do. So well, look, if Queen Alicent had an OnlyFans, then you could sign up for it consensually and there wouldn't be consent issues with that, and that would be fine. Because there's nothing wrong with a foot fetish in the abstract. It's the coercion that is what makes the scene creepy, just to be clear. I know the one foot fetish person in the chat appreciates me clarifying that. I'm not a weirdo, okay? We wash our feet first. I don't know. That's probably offensive. I'm sorry. You get the point, though. It's the coercion that is the problem. So this is the Golden Tooth, I have been told. So this is the army of the Westerlands mounting. I don't know if there's going to be a battle here, or if this is going to be like just armies getting ready. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, they got to bring the Lannisters into it somehow, but I don't remember there being a battle at the Golden Tooth this early on. Battle of the Red Fork. Yeah, what's that one? What's the Battle of the Red Fork? Somebody look that up for me. That might be what we're seeing. Yeah, the Red Fork. Who's that between? I don't remember it being a particularly conclusive battle. Jason Lannister dies there. Oh, okay. Alicent's feet are Nissa and Nissa. You're on fire today, chat. I love you. It was a little unruly during the Sixth Blackfire Rebellion. Chat was a little up and down. I love you guys today. You're serving up some good stuff. All right. Someone asked me to explain the Western bias of the DSM because I said someone was a psychopath. And I was like, I'm sure you have a point, but I'm not qualified to do that. Moving right along. Oh, it's a Bran sighting. Time traveling Bran checking out the war that he started somehow, according to Preston Jacobs, I think. I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's his theory. Red Fork is Lannisters versus some Riverlanders. Okay, cool. Is Daemon still going to be liked by the fandom if he openly cheats on Rhaenyra? Yes. Because Daemon's, you have to remember, Daemon's compelling. I don't know if the word is liked. I mean, I guess some people. Some people. Yeah, Rhaenyra isn't taking King's Landing this season. That's another false rumor that got started. That's not happening. It doesn't make any sense. They've got to do like 3 battles before that happens. And they have to, like, yeah, that's not happening. I don't know how that rumor got started. That's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. That's more fake news, in my opinion. Just love the Moon Dancer stuff. And basically, like, my whole take is that if you're listening to leaks and rumors about what's going to happen and then getting upset about the changes ahead of time, is like, why are you even doing that? What's the point? That's not a fun way to consume the show. You know what I mean? Like, just watch it and then make up your opinion. That's my position. But do what you want. Love our brindled wyvern, Moon Dancer. Love Moon Dancer. So yeah, this is just... So you see why Otto is saying this so intensely. Cole and Aegon want to make a move. And in Fire and Blood, if you remember, one of the reasons why, and you can see that the hand switch hasn't taken place yet here. Right? Cole does not have the hand chain yet. In the books, the reason why Aegon replaces Otto is because Otto is writing letters and he's trying to recruit allies, which is a good idea, by the way. And Aegon is just impatient. He wants to go to war. He wants to fight. And Otto is like, hey, we should, get armies on our side first. So that's what they're talking about. And that's why Otto is saying the people will rally to our side. The word has gone out. That's probably why we saw a raven in that other scene. That's an Otto news raven. Not a blood raven, a news raven. I talked about the Rhaenyra sword thing earlier. It's just that, like, yeah, it's a dangerous world. You should always keep a sword on you. And I would imagine all dragon riders get a minimal amount of combat training, because just think about it. If you're riding a dragon around in battle, you're eventually going to end up off your dragon, and you might need to defend yourself with a crossbow or a sword. So that kind of like makes sense to me. You want some kind of blade on you in a world like this. So love this stuff. Love the battle scenes here. This is definitely the Rook's Rest fight. So this is going to be the major piece. It's cool that it's not just going to be the dragon fight. They're going to set it up with a bunch of fighting on the ground as well. So this is going to be like a whole episode pretty much. Yeah, it's why pilots carry sidearms. Exactly right. Thank you, Namo. So I'm not sure who Damon's talking about, but yeah, there's going to be lots of people that say no to both sides, and threats will be made. So this is probably what's happening here. Since we see 2 Velaryon ships and 1 nameless ship in the middle, this is the blockade happening. They are probably boarding this ship and seizing it. And that's probably what we're seeing here. Yes. See, because you can tell this is one ship boarding another because it's kind of moving. Yeah, see, the deck is moving. It's not a camera. That's the ship moving. So this is the blockade. They are boarding the ships. Somebody's saying Is that a Westerling ship? I didn't see any mark on it. Hard to say. It could just be any merchant bringing food to King's Landing. And it would make sense for them to seize it. Be like, that's our food. Thank you. Thank you for the food. You will not be bringing that to them. So that's cool. They're playing up this plot line here. Love the blue, the sort of teal color here. This is great. I need clothes in this color. Definitely need clothes in this color. Yeah, I don't really dig hating on the writers. I think the writers are doing a great job myself. But some people are obsessed with that. So that's your angle. Sure, why not? Triple X vitamin water. Yeah, it's definitely, if I'm not doing energy, I do Triple X. And lately I haven't been doing energy. I've just been doing water and Red Bull. So there is Caraxes. What do I think is going to be the biggest change from book to show? I'm going to make a video about this. Jacaerys, the expansion of Jacaerys' plot line. I don't know if you're going to call that the biggest change, but if they're going to the wall, we probably will see White Walkers or Whites or some magical thing that highlights the importance of the prophecy. So that is the thing I am most excited about, is the expanded plot line. Or I don't know if it's even, well, it's a little bit expanded. It's the thing from Fire and Blood they're delving into. Like, we know he went to the Vale. They've cast a really impressive actor as Jane Arryn. So that will probably be a little more. And, you know, Rhaena's going to the Vale. She's going to be there with Lady Jane Arryn too. We know that they're looking for stuff for Rhaena to do. So yes, there's that whole thing will be expanded in the Vale. And then all the J stuff in the North will be really fleshed out. So that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most, as far as changes. And Bela and Moondancer. There was an interview with Bethany Antonia, the actor that plays Bela, and she was talking about how they're just finding more stuff for the younger kids to do, which I think makes sense, because in Fire and Blood, like I said, you don't have a character like Bela around just sitting around doing nothing until they do something awesome, like in her fight with Sunfire that comes later, right? So they are going to give, since they've made Bela a presence here, perhaps in part to make up for the lack of Lena, I think, they're giving Bela and Rhaena more stuff to do. And this might extend to Joffrey. Joffrey, Velaryon / Strong, you know. So we'll keep an eye out. But in general, yeah, they're giving the kids more to do, which makes sense. They're keeping everybody that's on the show needs to have a part that you remember, essentially. That's kind of the rule. Oh, and Bethany Antonia also said that Bela will be wielding Dark Sister at some point in the show. I don't know if she said it flat out or alluded to it, but if she alluded to it, then it's as good as saying it. So yeah, why would Bela have Dark Sister? Well, perhaps Daemon gives it to her. No, we're in spoiler mode now. We were spoiler free for the first half. Now we're in spoiler mode, fully. We're talking about Fire and Blood here. Although I will say that, of course, we do not know. They always change things. So just because we know Fire and Blood doesn't mean we know everything about the show. Some stuff's going to be different. However, so this Dark Sister thing, for example, you know, if Daemon is going on a dangerous mission, maybe he leaves Dark Sister with Bela because he thinks he might not come back. Maybe he's going on a cloak and dagger mission in King's Landing to set up Blood and Cheese, and he's not bringing his big sword. He's going in disguise. So he leaves it with Bela, because Bela is who he would trust to give it to for safekeeping. Or maybe Bela's got to go do something, and Daemon, feeling for his daughter, is like, oh, take the sword. It'll keep you safe, honey. You know, something. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I don't know. Craxes looks a little bigger to me, but sometimes the dragon scale is hard to tell based on the context. Will we see Sarah Snow? I have to think so. It's such a tasty plot point. How can you not have some version of Sarah Snow? I would be surprised if they didn't have some version. So yeah, there's this scene. Like I said, I don't think there's really. Oh, I love the Valerian fraternity bunting in the background. They must have just had a frat rush. Still got the bunting up. Yeah, I think this is just a way of Rhaenyra saying, look, if I'm in charge, you have to respect my authority, and you're pushing it pretty far, buddy. So I think that's really all that's going on. But if you cut just that dialogue, then it makes it kind of, it makes it tense. Cleo's going through I have a drawer of stickers that I've collected, and she is peeling them one by one. Was there anything about the trailer I didn't like? Not really. I mean, I don't usually do snap negative reactions. I'll judge the show. Like when the show happens, I'll say if I don't like something. But the trailer, I mean, this is all just teaser stuff. There's not really anything to dislike. Like this dress is cool. Some people like have a visceral reaction to the wigs or the dresses. I don't have a skilled enough eye. I would just say if something looks ugly or not, but I think this looks cool. I will say that, Emma's acting for Rhaenyra is very good. It's very restrained, right? The character that Emma plays, they're playing a very, this character that has a lot of inner turmoil, and they're projecting an outward presence of Queen, but there's a lot going on inside. So it's, when you do the stills of Rhaenyra, it doesn't like, Rhaenyra's never doing like an action shot, right? Like when I try to make these thumbnails, I look for the best shot for the thumbnail. And like the shot of Rhaenyra that I had was this one. And it's a cool picture, but it's not very kinetic, right? And I think that's something interesting about her character, is that she is very hemmed in and very restrained by all of her circumstance and the pressure on her. But I think it will be dramatic when she breaks from that, when she hops on her dragon and goes and does something or makes a decision or sets something into motion. So that's kind of the dynamic. Cleo, come here. Hey, psst, come here. No more drawer for you. That's what I feel like they're doing with that character, is they're creating a push-pull where they're very restrained most of the time, and then sometimes it's explosive. And we see that Targaryen fire. So, interesting portrayal. So this is obviously Aegon taking off, going to Rook's Rest. He's excited. And that means that this is the last shot we're going to see of pretty face Tom Glencarney. That armor that he's wearing right there is going to get melted into his body. His face is going to be burned. Oh yes, obviously the gender is part of that too with Rhaenyra, simply because she's trying to be queen, and there's never been a queen. It's a man's job, quote unquote. So yeah, she's got the Margaret Thatcher, Hillary Clinton dynamic. I've got to wear the pantsuit and be tough. So anyways, yeah, Aegon, if you remember, of course, comes out of Rook's Rest melted. The burnt king. That's right. So take a good look. And obviously, we don't see any Aegon from post Rook's Rest in the trailer, because they're going to keep that reveal. The people that haven't read Fire and Blood, that's going to be quite the twist. And of course, Aegon goes into sort of hiding after this, but when he comes out, he's kind of a different character. So I'm very curious to see what they do with that. Oh, I don't know. I think the dragons are more colorful on House of the Dragon. They're definitely more colorful than Game of Thrones. So yeah, this is Rook's Rest that we're talking about, right? And so Alicent has a little bit of a soft spot for Rhaenys, right? They had that kind of connection in episode 9. I don't know if soft spot is the right idea, but they respect each other. They don't hate each other. So what Aemond is proposing is essentially like a little bit of a trap and a trick, right? They sucker Rhaenys to come out, and they lie in wait with the dragons and then ambush her with Sunfire and Vhagar. But this is a good point. Like this makes sense, right? This makes a lot of sense. Not every comment in the chat makes sense, but it makes sense to do it to do it this way. Because the whole problem with dragon warfare is that if you just pit dragon versus dragon, everybody dies. You're looking for a way to bring overwhelming numbers. 3 dragons against 1. And then you might kill the one dragon and come out with all of your dragons alive. So this is a pretty good strategy tactically. But it's definitely like going for the throat. So yeah, Alicent probably needs to decide whether or not they're actually having a war, right? Will Tom be present for season 3? Yeah. He'll just be, what they'll do is they'll parallel Viserys. Because remember, Viserys was laid up for a lot of his reign, right? Laid up in the room, just having people come to him. We'll see the parallels in season 3 and maybe the end of season 2 with Aegon being in recovery and not seeing very many people. It'll be a parallel to Viserys. I do wonder if Aegon and Helena will have more contact than what we hear about in Fire and Blood. Will Aemond try to bring Helena and her dragon into battle? I don't... Maybe. I can't say no for sure. I just think Helena's prophetic visions are going to continue to be really important. So here is Caraxes, probably at Harrenhal, rainy Harrenhal. So yeah, they're planning Rook's Rest here. That's what's going on here. And here they are at the wall. Jace is seeing something, like he's looking maybe over the wall and into the north for the first time. We remember how Tyrion and Jon described that. It's a very emotional experience to look over the wall, because all of your life you only hear about the other side. You know it's there, it's this land of mystery, and then you climb up to the top of the 700-foot wall and you see it all for the first time. It's very dramatic. So I think that's this moment here. Yeah, I do think Helena will have a premonition of blood and cheese. Definitely. Of some kind. I just don't know if she will understand that that's what it is. So, let's see here. Moving right along. I already said we got Kristen Cole, the Hand, Baela chasing after him. This could be after Rook's Rest. You kind of have the feeling like Baela and Moondancer might show up in the aftermath of it. Maybe see Rhaenys get taken down and she's chasing Cole afterwards. We don't know, though. Baela and Moondancer could be there from the beginning. And maybe she is almost caught in the trap as well, but does something different and so doesn't die where Rhaenys and Meleys do. Hard to say. And yes, obviously post Blood and Cheese Aegon, he's just looking forward to the acting from Tom. That's all I can say. And obviously there's the Cargill fight. You can actually see that's another Kingsguard that he's fighting. It's the same armor that he's wearing on the arm. So this is, yeah, the Cargill's fighting. Please don't repeat your messages. So yeah, who's this? Gotta know. Is this the woman with blonde hair or silver hair that we see in the other two scenes? Or is this Alice Rivers? There's probably no way to know, but that is definitely what everyone's going to be speculating about, is who is this? I don't think this could be Helena, because I don't think the Aemond-Helena romance is a thing. You can see a strand of dark hair. Oh, you're right. Yeah, if she had silver hair, you'd be able to see that. So this would not be the same person. Yeah, it's obviously Aemond. You can see the scar. But he's I don't think he's shirtless in Helena's lap. I don't think that's happening. Yeah, so this is not Helena either. Yeah, it is too soon for Alice Rivers, I think. Unless Alice Rivers' backstory is different than what we know. No, I don't think it is. Well, yeah, I guess it probably... So he doesn't go to Harrenhal until Daemon leaves Harrenhal. And Daemon leaves Harrenhal to take King's Landing. So yeah, it is too early. Hard to say who this is. That was a funny crossfade. No idea who's stepping in. This is obviously the middle of a battle. Dead bodies everywhere. Dead bodies everywhere. The sex worker who greeted him in episode 9. That's a good guess, Nelson. They seemed to have a connection, didn't they? They shared a look that was meaningful. It's got to be who it is. It makes sense because Aemond actually has a connection to her. That's the person he lost his virginity to. So it kind of makes sense that Aemond, being an emo boy, went back to her. That's funny. I think that makes sense. It's kind of like monogamy adjacent, sort of. So yeah, then the splash to the Valerian ship. So yeah, that is Adam. So not the Dragon Rider. That is Adam of Hull. Alan of Hull is the Dragon Rider. But there he is. It's father / the Oakenfist. Yeah, it seems like these are going to be Corlys's kids and not Laenor's kids. And we've seen Alan, and Alan doesn't have silver hair either. So I don't think they went with that. And yeah, I just don't know who this character is. Are you sure that's not Helena? I guess we've seen the same person sleeping with Daemon. So that wouldn't be Helena, would it? And yeah, like I said, this is not the same field. This is Driftmark. And that is just some brothel lady. Okay. This is a cool shot of Moondancer. No, it's not. That's Derona Targaryen. Okay. All right. As long as we're still kidding. So yeah, there's Bela. It's cleaning up some Stokeworth. Actually, we shouldn't assume that. That might not be Bela's. That might not be Moondancer's Dragonfire. That could be Vagar's fire. That's a lot of fire, actually. That's probably not. That's probably not Moondancer's fire. That looks more like Vagar or Melis. This is Mysaria setting up Blood and Cheese. She's probably talking to Daemon. Daemon goes into the city and arranges Blood and Cheese with Mysaria. So that seems to be what's happening here. And you remember Mysaria, again, Alicent had Lares firebomb her house. Obviously, she wasn't home. We all guessed that. So she is not Team Green anymore. Remember, she was telling Otto about, oh, you've got to shut down these fighting pits and you need to do this. And he's like, oh, I'll look into it. And then they firebomb her house. So she's probably, not Team Green anymore. Not sympathetic at all to the Greens. So this is probably why she's willing now to help Daemon and pivot back. So this is, yes, that's blood. We saw this right when Daemon was chopping body parts in season 1, right? We saw the guy with the red beard and the hair that was very enthusiastic. He was shouting murderer and rapist, and this and that. We said, oh, that's probably blood. And indeed, that does turn out to be blood. So that's cool that they cast him all the way back then. And so this is Daemon with this mystery woman. Who is a new white-haired woman? A different actor has been cast for what, Laura? Who's got a different actor? It kind of looks like Helena. I don't think it is, though. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Some people think it looks like Gail Rankin, who is playing Alice Rivers. It makes sense. So if Daemon and Alice Rivers are sleeping together, that could make sense. But because they'll both be at Harrenhal. But I'd be surprised if Alice Rivers has silver hair. It could be Rhaenyra. I think it could be Rhaenyra. It's hard to tell. It's just, why would there be a different silver-haired woman? We don't need another. We've got so many. But people are saying that's Daemon's ring. So yeah, Daemon and Helena, that doesn't make any sense. So this isn't Helena. Yeah, maybe Alice dyes her hair. She's a witch. Maybe she's messing with Daemon. It could be, I guess. And then whose knife is this? That is either Alicent or Helena there. That's like a woman's dress and hand. Hard to say. Yeah, I don't think Emma's eyebrows are that thick. Exactly. Let's go back to this. These eyebrows are darker. Yeah, those aren't Rhaenyra's brows. So it must be Gail Rankin. I'm definitely interested in this Team Smallfolk riot plotline. I think we've got it sussed out. I think it is food riots. But I'm curious to see what they do with that. This looks tense. Like, they're close. That's a lot of people. They look upset. And they're very richly dressed. They're wearing, those are the funeral. They've got their black mourning veils, the black mourning veils on. So this is attached to some sort of funeral. Yeah, Helena was booking it, wasn't she? Yeah, they're booking. They're booking out. But yeah, they've got the black veils. So that's got to be the funeral for the little kids. Or the little kid that was killed. Again, I'm not sure which one they'll do or if Maelor's here or not. So we'll just wait and see. And then we just got some more battle stuff. This is Rook's Rest. You can see the castle in the background. Smoke and fire. People in the woods. You get the idea. It's going to be cool. Sarah has said they're going to play up the witch magic. It's pretty played up in Fire and Blood, I gotta say. If you read the end of Alice Rivers' story, or at least what we have. We don't actually have the end. But the post Aemond part, it's very Witch Queen of Harrenhal. So, yeah, I think they'll just be honoring what the book says. But I'm glad they're going with that. And it makes sense, right? If Helena's having dreams and stuff, it makes sense for Aemond to go and have, this connection with Alice Rivers. So, this makes me happy to hear. And then, yeah, this is pretty dope. I like how Melis's head looks. That's pretty sick. They probably made this prop fresh for this season because, of course, Melis's head, they cut it off and parade it through the streets of King's Landing. And we are going to see that. So they made a new prop head probably, yeah. It looks sick. And then, yeah, this is Rook's Rest. This is Aemond flying through Dragonfire. And, yeah, Vhagar. So you can see Vhagar's, like, trying to burn a moving target, sweeping her head around. So this is definitely Rook's Rest footage. Oh, is she wearing a mask or something? Yeah, maybe a wind mask. She's wearing something. I was wondering about that. Like, you'd want a windscreen of some kind. That makes sense to me. That's cool. We can't wait to see that from the front. They're keeping it. Nice call, whoever caught that. Yeah, some fighter goggles / dragon face mask. Melis. No. Do you think the show will have Rhaenys survive the fall or have a quick heroic death? Probably quick heroic death. We don't need to draw it out. She's an old lady. Let's give her some dignity. I think it'll be glad cry and a whip crack, They're not going to... They desecrate Melis's body. They don't need to do that to Rhaenys. Nana looks like a swamp that congealed into a dragon. I love it. Yeah, Vhagar might chomp her. That could happen. Could be the chomp. And then, yeah, I appreciated this. Neither side may win. So I don't think that's Syrax. This must be Vermithor. I just noticed this now. That's not Syrax at all. Is it? Those horns are not... Syrax's horns are swept back. So that looks like the Bronze Fury. That looks like a grandpa dragon. It's time for my big moment. Oh, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a new rider. That's right. It's Grandpappy Vermithor. Definitely. Grandpa, here we go. Now I got my voice back. Hey, we're going to cut a rug and do some dancing, aren't we? It's the Dance of the Dragons. We're going to play all my old favorites on the jukebox. Let the Vermithor memes fly. Do the twist. I'm going to bop a little bit. He's coming. Grandpappy is coming. I love that he's docile enough for Rhaenyra to just Daemon's probably called her in, be like, let's go check out Vermithor. He's cool. I sang to him. He's chill. And Rhaenyra's looking at him, and she's actually turning her back on the dragon. And she's saying, neither side may win. So they're talking about doing the dragon seeds. They're debating whether or not to create more dragon riders and whether or not that's a good idea. Yeah, and she's literally comfortable with turning her back to the dragon. So that's interesting. Definitely a trained dragon that's used to people, isn't about to unpredictably chomp somebody. Yeah, I will do a Vermithor Nana conversation, I promise. That is obvious. A debate moderated by Old Nan. Between Vagar and Vermithor. I can see it now. That'll be my most successful video. So, questions. I will take questions from you, and then I'm going to get out of here because it's been about 2 hours. Look at that. How do the producers of the show train the dragons so well not to attack the actors? The key is food. You have to feed them. A fat dragon is a docile dragon. Yeah, we will see Dreamfire and Helena. I'd like to see Helena go down and like, you know, touch Dreamfire and have some visions maybe or something. Is the Alicent holds love for the enemy scene after Blood and Cheese? Probably. Yeah, because she doesn't really hold love for the enemy. She just has restraint. It's Aemond that is categorizing that as love for the enemy. But like I said, she at least respects Rhaenys. So any attempt by Alicent to negotiate something, because she's saying, oh, we got to stop this war. So, yeah, Aemond is just saying, yeah, that's soft. That's weak. Vermithor has Silverwing. I know. I wasn't going to make Vagar and Vermithor be in love. They're just going to have a conversation. Really, look, Vagar is actually great, Nana. But we don't say that because it's not polite. It makes her sound more old. So we just say Nana, but she's great, Nana. So, yeah. Vagar is grandpa. Silverwing is grandma. Nana's different. Nana's matriarch. That's Vagar. So, don't get it twisted. Do you think Aegon will resemble Darth Vader? Oh, they could. Yeah, I could see that. His crown helmet is more of like a Sauron looking helmet, but yeah, he's going to be pretty burned. So you could see some Vader parallels. That would make sense. The Battle of the Gullet has been moved to season 3, correct? Which is how we know that they're not going to take King's Landing this season. It's got to happen after the Gullet. Here. Any chance of Morning appearing this season? Yes, based on those 3 eggs in the fire. Yeah. Definitely could be. Yes, I think we'll see Dreamfire like I was just saying. Even if she doesn't ride the dragon, they need to remind us that she's a dragon rider and that her dreams come from the dragons, you know. Do you think Moore will root for Team Green this season? Probably a little bit. Yep. And yes, we do have Nana Vagar shirts. Thank you. Check out the bonfire link below if you want a Nana Vagar shirt. The reason why Dreamfire never goes to war is because Helena is very broken after the Blood and Cheese event. I do think she will do more than just sit around and be broken. I think she'll still have visions and want to talk to people about them, but I don't think she'll fly to war. Do you think the crown will be stuck to the helmet? Yeah, totally. It's all going to be melted. You want another Vagar shirt that says Murder Granny? That's pretty good. Do you think they will give Cregan a wolf? No, he shouldn't have a wolf. Maybe some wolves will howl in the distance, but no, he shouldn't have a wolf. I guess I won't complain that much, but it will raise questions. Yeah, Kristen Cole's going to have a real big role. I mean, he becomes Hand of the King, and he's basically the lead general for Team Green. Oh, well, so that's not the real crown on his helmet. That's just a helmet in the shape of his crown. They didn't glue the helmet. They didn't glue the crown on the helmet. The helmet doesn't have any rubies. They just made the helmet look like the crown. Yeah, it's considered weird to find the dire wolf close to Winterfell. He shouldn't have wolves. He's got Jace instead, Mink says. Maybe he'll have a dog. That would be funny. If he has like a wolf dog, like a husky or something. What will be the season finale for season 2? I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I don't have a guess off the top of my head. Yeah, Crispy won't die this year. Not yet. I do think people will start to listen to Helena more because it's more interesting if they do. Helena will lock herself in a room full of bugs and cobwebs after Blood and Cheese. That would kind of make sense, actually. Do you think Alice will attempt to enter Daemon's dreams? Oh, that could make sense. We see Daemon having what looks like dream sequences. That would be interesting. That would be a way to play up her witchiness. Yeah, Alice Rivers is definitely going to be fun. Like a fun character. I don't understand the question, John Haymaker. There's going to be 4 seasons. Season 3 probably will be 10 episodes, I would guess, yeah. There has to be 4 seasons. You couldn't do it in 3. Will they use the Valyrian steel dagger for something? Probably not, because Aegon has it. They're going to talk about the prophecy, but Aegon has the dagger, and he doesn't know how to heat it up in the fire. So that would be funny if he did it by accident and was like, what the hell is this? There could be a parlay between Alicent and Rhaenyra, at which point it is mentioned. Nah, it's not going to... No, they need 4 seasons. 3 is not going to do it. Do I think we'll see a Dunk and Egg trailer by the end of the year? No. No, it'd be too early. Maybe some photos. Yeah, I saw the lone crow. I think that's just a message crow from Otto. But we did say hi to time-traveling Bran. No, I do not think we'll see Daeron, because Daeron doesn't do anything until the Battle of the Honey Wine. And they're not going to do that this year. They could go 5 seasons if they wanted to, yes. Dalton Greyjoy. We haven't seen a whisper of any Ironborn yet. So that's probably season 3. Do the Targ Towers think of themselves as Targaryens? Yeah, I'd have to say so. Or do they think of themselves as High Towers with legitimate right to rule by right of their Targaryen heritage? I'm not sure I understand the question. The kids think about themselves as Targaryens. They ride dragons. So, yeah. When will Silverwing appear? Well, it's Ulf the White that rides Silverwing, and we've seen Ulf the White in the trailer. So possibly this year. Will we see Daemon's spy on the council this season? Quite possibly so. I'm not sure how the fight will play out, Lord Vader. Probably close to what's in the books. Yeah, I think it makes sense to bring in Dalton Greyjoy in season 3. I think that would make sense. So, I will take final call for questions, and then I'm going to pop off here. A little off topic. Do I think Ragnar would make a good Aegon? He's probably a little old, but yes. Other than that, he probably would. He's a little... actually, I don't know. He does a good crazy character. Like on Raised by Wolves, the more unhinged he gets, the better. So probably not. He looks the part, but I don't think that would take advantage of his skills. Where do babies come from? Do you think Jace will do some magic in the north? No. I think they will talk about the prophecy, and they will maybe see signs or hear signs of whites or White Walkers that will highlight the importance of the prophecy. But they could, bring a dragon's egg. There's that whole plot line. Will they, will Vermax lay an egg, or will he bring an egg to Winterfell? That's one of the main things that I'm waiting for, is to see if there's a dragon's egg left at Winterfell. I am hoping yes. Any thoughts on a Sea Snake animated project? That would be dope. It makes sense because it would be too hard to do all the locations live action. We have not seen Rhaenyra tell Jace about the prophecy, but she surely will at some point. It seems like Jace is going to go to the Eyrie and then come back for the funeral and then be sent to Winterfell. So he'll probably hear about the prophecy in between. And in fact, that voiceover of Rhaenyra saying, a Targaryen king, this and that, she might be speaking to Jace. Thank you for the amazing content. You're welcome. Binging the breakdowns. Right on. Good luck with your content creation. Will Daemon be present at Luke's funeral? They might have him not be there just to make it more tense. I don't see why. Maybe someone's got to stay at Dragonstone to hold it down while everyone else goes. That's probably what happens. I don't know how Jace would get the dagger to take it north. So I don't know. The 3 eggs in the trailer can't be Dany's eggs. No, it seems like they're trying to hatch them. So probably not. They're just trying to visually remind us. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys, cool. Thanks for coming out. I'm going to wrap this up and get to work on my Harrenhal video, which I'll probably put out next week now since we've done this. And I'm going to let this one get watched, and I'll need a little more time also. So yeah, Harrenhal will be next Tuesday. We'll see you on Sunday with a good stream. I'm not sure what, but it'll be something cool. So ciao for now. And I will see you... Yeah, Dany's eggs were lost before the dance. Thank you. They're in Essos already. So yeah, cheers, guys. Looks like a good season coming our way.